Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Shorts Guy, Scotty of SiriusXM Liquid Metal, and Beer Baron. Yeah, baby. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. You guys seem like you're really depressed on my screen right now because everyone's looking down as I'm doing the intro, but that's okay. I don't like interruptions anyway. That's fine, as we got tough games ahead for your New Jersey Devils before All-Star. A lot of pissed off Devils fans, a lot of negativity, some positivity, not much, but anyway, hello everybody.
Hello.
What's up? What is up? Yeah, there's a lot of negativity because you have this beautiful night. You have this beautiful night celebrating one of the greatest Devils of all time, and Sergei Brylin, and the team forgets to show up, and doesn't just forget to show up, but gets absolutely embarrassed. If anybody's ever seen Letterkenny, I kicked a garbage can across my living room, and just went embarrassing. Because that's what it felt like. This is that was just probably one of the worst games I've seen all year. Thank God I wasn't there in person because, contrary to Tom's belief, I am not the jinx on this team. It might be Tom, our loyal friend and friend of the podcast, but it was one of those games where I was like, all right, 1-0, whatever. We go down 1-0 in every single game this year. It feels like, actually, with the exception of 13 out of the halfway point, we've only scored the first goal 13 times, I believe. And then it just spiraled viciously out of control. And when it was 6-2 to Scott GD Wedgwood, first start of the game, Wedgwood, it was, Jesper Brett and Toffoli scoring was, I didn't even care. I think I turned the game off when it went 4-0 because it was just so pitiful. So, yeah. Negativity is there's a negativity for a reason. We'll get more into that. But what do you guys think?
Vinny and I were talking about it in pregame that the Devils had an opportunity to really take a lot of emotion in the beginning of the game and to really kind of turn it into a win. And then we were talking about too about how this would mean a little bit more for this New Jersey Devils team because Sarge is there in their faces daily. Like they should have more of a vested interest in playing for him, and for his night yesterday, but they just did not. It was bad. It was just so bad. They took what should have been. They took a night that was fantastic for before the game started, and then as soon as the play started, it was just like I don't know. I was close to turning it off. But I did not. I suffered through the end with all of that. Scotty?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was pretty much written on the wall how it was going to go. I mean, Dallas is coming off an embarrassing loss themselves to Philly.
Yes, they were.
The Devils, not good at home, and they're absolutely atrocious in the second half of their league-high 16 back-to-back games that they have this season. So, it was all primed and ready for a letdown. I actually was not shocked at all by this. And I think every Devils fan, too, by the time the third period started, they were just like, yeah, whatever with this game. Let's go see what's going on with the playoffs and football. But yeah, I kind of almost expected this, to tell you the truth. There's a lot of issues on the back end with the young defensemen. They are really out of position a lot of times. John Marino can't cover three people at once. I like what I've been seeing from Cal Foote. He looks very solid. And by the way, everyone, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, X, wherever, QR code in the corner, bottom left of your screen. Yes. Scan it. Join our crew. We got big announcements coming. We're working on some stuff. Some new developments for the big tailgate party that's going to be happening on the 17th at, as I like to call it, Giant Stadium.
Yep, still is. Forever will be.
Still Giant Stadium.
Across from the Brendan Byrne Continental Airlines Arena. So just scan that QR code. Samwu, as we know, put a whole hell of a lot of work into that. 5 hours, 5 minutes, whatever. No, we're not counting.
It was still a lot of work. It was a lot of work in someone's eyes.
A lot of work.
In someone's eyes, it was a lot of work.
Yeah, in Mrs. Wu's eyes, it was a lot of work when Sam should have been taking out the trash or something like that. He was making QR codes. So bail him out of trouble, if you would, because he is banished to the dungeon of Mrs. Wu's Displeasure Palace. And scan that QR code and make sure it's all good. But yeah, for that game, like I literally was like almost expecting this to happen. We know about the home woes. We know about the second half of the back-to-back. An interesting stat for you. The Devils are what? They're 9-1 in the first game of the back-to-backs, and then they're
1-8-1.
1-8-1. And get this, the one game that they lost was the one game that they won the second. How ironic is that? They haven't swept. Yeah, they have not swept a back-to-back yet this season. And we got more coming. There's more coming next week. So
yeah, there's 100 million of them coming. But you say like you're like it's expected, and it's a letdown. That was more than a letdown, man. That was an absolute embarrassment to the point. And listen, fans, I've been trying to ride the positivity wave, and it's funny because right before we came on, Sam was like, "Oh man, you're like the positive one." I'm like, I am, but to a point. You get to a point with this team where it's like you can be positive for so long. You're okay with like certain moves and certain things, and I understand the injuries and this and that, but yesterday's game was so flat and unmotivated on a night where you're honoring somebody, and I feel like you're not just honoring a player that's going to walk onto the ice and watch something go into the rafters, or you're not going to just honor somebody that used to play here and played 1,000 games and have some silly little tribute to them. You're honoring somebody that means so much to this team and is currently one of the coaches of this team. And if I were him, I would have come down from the skybox that they put the other coaches in, and I would have kicked some ass. That was an embarrassing team effort. And you know what? Yes, there's a lot that can go on those young defensemen. But guess what? There's some forwards that should be coming back and helping out on the defensive side as well. It just seems like they're an unmotivated and unenthusiastic group, and they are night and day. The game before, they win, and they win convincingly. They go into this game, and it looks like they're a peewee hockey team going up against an NHL team.
They can't win at home.
That just means they're unprepared.
They can't win at home, and they can't win in that second half of the back-to-back. And then you put that against Dallas, who's a really good team. Who's coming, like we said, coming off an embarrassing loss. What they lose 5-1 to Philly 2 nights before.
5-1.
They're rested up. They were in town. They took the nice morning skate and everything like that. And for whatever reason, we know ex-players love to just have these like career games against us. If you look at Scott Wedgwood's numbers against the Devils, it's unreal. And the dude stood on his head. It's not like the Devils didn't get good opportunities either.
Vezina winning Scott Wedgwood.
I mean, don't say that.
But I mean,
don't say that.
Scott Vezina Wedgwood. Sam,
don't say that. Don't say that.
The Devils got good opportunities, but he played absolutely lights out. I mean, hell's bells. He took one to the noggin from McLeod, and he still stood his ground after that. Yeah,
that hurts. I can tell you from experience, that hurts like hell. And it stuns you. And then what was even worse? The puck went off the helmet. The helmet flew off. The puck went behind him. I believe it was behind him. And I forget who had the open net opportunity and missed.
Mm-hmm. No. They put it in, but they blew the whistle. They blew the whistle as soon as his head.
No, it didn't go in. It didn't go in.
I could have swore I saw McLeod's arms and everything go up, and they were pointing to the goal. So I'm pretty sure that someone tapped it in.
He missed it. It was a miss because I don't know if they would have blown it that immediately. If the helmet comes off, they will blow it quickly, but I don't think they would have blown it that immediately if it was like a bang, bang, bang play or like a bang, bang play. So it probably would have counted, but whoever that was missed the net just completely. We just look so snake bitten offensively. It's not good. We look awful defensively. It's not good.
Nova's got it here. Wedgwood's got a .970 save percentage. 970.
3-0, I think, against us.
Unreal.
That's
unreal. At least they beat old Sideburns the night before because Merzlikins plays really good against us as well. You know, we've had a number of like guys where hey,
yeah.
it's Elvis. You know, he's a hunk of burning love over there. So,
yeah. I don't know what the hell is up with this team. I don't know. I will say this. You brought up Cal Foote. I will say this. This is kind of like on a lighter note. On a lighter note, at the end of the first period, I saw that highlight of him where he backed into Steele, who wound up going into Dawes, and then immediately Cal Foote, after knocking Steele into Dawes, which knocked over Dawes, turns around and starts cross-checking the heck out of him. And then goes and skates across the ice, checks him more. And as soon as I saw that, I said, you know what? It's exactly what Sam's cousin Marty will do to me and for me on the rink, and has done that on the rink. And I was able to pull that clip today, and I said it to him, and he's like, yep, I've done that before. And I was like, I know. That's immediately the first thing I thought of when I saw that. It's like, oh, here we go. Cal Foote pushing someone into a goalie and then cross-checking the crap out of him just because he was there. I've seen this play before in front of me. It was hysterical.
Yeah.
I liked what I've seen from him.
When I went to go see the Devils and play Montreal on Wednesday this past week, and Foote made his NHL debut, one of the things that I couldn't get over is how he was paired with Ball, and I kept yelling football, football, football. And how that hasn't caught on anywhere is beyond me. But
because we got bigger things to worry about.
I know. My daughter watched the game the other day because she was with me. She goes, "Hey, Dad, look, it's football," and I'm like, "Thanks, kid."
I think that might be the only person who finds that joke funny. I don't know.
Probably. Hey, listen, I'm still
that is the dad joke to end all dad jokes over there.
not all of them, but it's in there.
Kind of reminds me of when Ralphie sees Santa. Would you like a football?
Football.
Yeah, football.
Oh boy,
football.
Yeah.
That might even. I think that just made it worse right there. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what that was what my intention was.
That's producer Sam's favorite movie.
Yes.
As bad as it was last night, and it was bad. As bad as it was last night, and you have the crowd chanting "Fire Lindy," you have people leaving well before the game was over. You had booing. You had the unrest of the crowd going on. The Devils are only two points out of a playoff spot.
Yep.
With half a season to go. With 76 points up for grab. So, I mean, no, the season's not over. If they make no sweeping changes to the coaching staff this year, I don't think I would be shocked. I don't think anybody here would be shocked if Lindy Ruff is riding this all the way through the end of the year, especially if he regroups his team and gets them into the playoffs. Yes, they're missing Jack Hughes mightily, especially on the power play. You don't think Jack Hughes makes an impact on this team. You're blind. And as to quote Lindy Ruff, you're not watching hockey. It's hard, though, because there's some moves that are made and there's some things that are done. And you see other teams making moves like, oh, great, now we have to deal with Patrick Waugh in Long Island. You see moves like that being made. And, of course, when the fan base is frustrated and they want something to happen and nothing is happening, it's just going to compound those issues. It's going to compound the way that everybody's feeling. So, hopefully, I don't know, like this All-Star break can't happen fast enough because they need a full rest and a reset. And as you know, the NHL is pumping out all their materials and all their promos for the All-Star game. They keep putting Jack Hughes' face and name up there. So we're all assuming that he's going to be there unless they're just that dumb and don't realize that he's hurt. So hopefully that means Jack is on his way back, or he'll be back maybe a game before the All-Star break and then, come back fully after the All-Star break. But this team it offensively seemed lost without his drive some night, without his play. Timo Meier, a lot of people are complaining, like, once again, he's going to take a little time to get his feet under him. We saw what happened last time. And I don't know which one of you guys pointed it out. I think it might have been Sam. But even like Tyler Toffoli, it looks like he's dealing with a little something. So the injury bug hit this team harder than anybody could have ever expected in the beginning first half this year. The second half can only be better. The second half, where this team is starting to get healthy and start to look like that Florida Panthers team that went on a run in the second half last year. And by the way, for all those people that were looking for Corey Perry to join the Devils team to add a little bit of grit, He went to Edmonton, but you know what that means? That means Edmonton will make the Stanley Cup Finals, but there's no way in hell they're going to win it with him on the team. Just saying.
Love it.
And just one last quick point on Cal Foote. 3 games, 9 block shots to lead the team. So something we've definitely been missing.
We were missing.
And somebody please find the Ninja Turtles costume and dress up like the Foot Clan and start like a, you know how there's the Brat Pack? Let's start the Foot Clan and just have people showing up in those costumes supporting
like the
Cal
morph,
Foote.
Like the morph suits that they wear up there in Calgary, or not Calgary, yes. Sorry, Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
I used to have one of those costumes as a kid.
The Foot Clan
probably still fits, Sam. I guarantee it. Go get it, put it on. It'll fit like a glove.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
So I have a question for you guys.
All right.
Well, this is and because I'm hearing all the, reading all the cliches that the fans have been spewing. Using injuries is not an excuse. Good teams find a way to win. What are your thoughts?
You can't feel sorry for them because every team deals with injuries, but the Devils have an abnormal amount this year. And as we've talked about plenty of times in the past, Jack Hughes, Dougie Hamilton, that is 170-plus points out of your lineup. And as Beer Baron is saying here, and as I was saying on Devils After Dark, when Nico was out of the team, they didn't look organized. Now Nico's back to look organized, but without Jack, we know Jack does not like to lose. I see many a sticks getting broken over the boards when Jack Hughes is pissed off. I think, me personally, like Beer Baron was just saying, I think Jack brings some accountability to that team because Jack has he has high expectations of himself. And when he's out there, I feel like the team really feeds on that as well. But you take Dougie, you take Jack out of the equation, that's a big hit to your special teams, and that's 170-plus points out the window. You put that with 3 rookie defensemen that are learning on the fly, that's going to be troubling results. It's going to be troubling results.
And for anybody that's out there that's saying like, Alexander Holtz gets benched for making a terrible pass in the middle of the ice, but look at what Simone Nemec is doing. You can't really bench one of your defensemen. You can't shorten your defense by one player. That, first of all, it puts you in such a huge deficit for the rest of the game. And second of all, does it happen? Sure, yeah. John Marino has been benched during games. Like, there are certain guys that get benched during the game. But I don't think Lindy's in the position right now, defensively at least, to bench any of those guys. A forward, you can set an example, and maybe that's what he's doing. He's trying to set the example with Alexander Holtz, and he's like, you know what, this kid is going to be, the one that I go out there and I'm going to be like, all right, this is my guy. Like Jesper Bratt, when he was doing that to him when he first got here, and he would bench Bratt for what seemed like at the time no reason, and he was really, really hard on Jesper Bratt, and he used to criticize his game a lot, openly criticize his game a lot. And look at the player that Bratt turned into. Would he have done that under another coach? Yeah, sure, probably. Would he have projected to be where he is right now? Yeah, sure, probably. But maybe that's what Bratt needed. Maybe he needed that tough love to get over a certain thing. Maybe that's what he needed to get to be a productive player. And maybe that's what's happening with Holtz too. But these young defensemen, mistakes are going to happen. It's bound to happen. And we glaze over it so often. The loss to Dougie Hamilton, like you were just saying, Scotty, is way bigger than anybody gives you credit for. He is your number one pairing defenseman. Then you lose Siegenthaler on top of that. So, yes, I hate the excuse that injuries and a good team rises up and plays better. But golly, you're overcoming some crazy deficits to come out there and play the way a big boy club needs to play. You're losing guys left and right, and you're losing pivotal pieces to your team. And then, by the way, that has to restructure your team. You lose Jack off of your power play. Guess what? Now you have to restructure not just your first power play line, but your second power play line. You're losing Siegenthaler. You're losing these guys. There goes your PK. You're losing these. So you're losing pieces, and you're having to shift other people around. You're giving responsibilities to other people that maybe have never had them before. So it's not just like, oh, one guy is out of the lineup and it's okay and we can just fill that gap. No, that's a big deal. And that's chemistry too. Look at the chemistry that happens between Jack Hughes and Jesper Bratt and all those guys. you think that's easily replaced by throwing somebody else on that line? No. So, is it an excuse? Sure. But is it reality? Yeah, damn right it's reality.
Do you want me to give you some hope? I'll give you some hope.
Always, Sam. Always.
The way social media and Devils fans at the arena, at the bar, American Whiskey, made it sound like I almost felt like we're in the lottery draft right now because it's so bad, And but if you look at it, right now they're 23, 18, and 3 with 49 points. Last year they were 29, 12, and 4 with 58 points, and that includes the 13-game heater that they went on. They're not that far off, considering the amount of injuries to Timo Meier, Jack Hughes, Dougie Hamilton. The list goes on. I don't think it's that bad. I really don't think it's that bad. Still, people want to fire Ruff. I mean, honestly, if Whitney Ruff won 2 cups, they still want to fire him at this point, because it's like you can't just. There's not one person to blame for all this. There's plenty of blame to go around, but it's also the situation. It is what it is with the injuries.
So, all right. So we've been talking about this all season since September, that our defense was young and it was going to be risky. And here we got Hamilton and Siegs are out, and now we are really kind of screwed with our defensive play, because now we have to rely on these young guys. And I've said this over and over again. You cannot hide developing defensemen on your roster like you can hide a developing forward. And now we're paying for it. I can't tell you how frustrated I was seeing that 2-on-1 goal that was scored against by Montreal with Nemec just skating away from the crease with that other. Now granted, that was a heads up play by what's his name, the forward from Montreal. His name escaped me the other day. It's escaped me now. Heads up play, because he knew he had a young defenseman who was not back, who was not skating backwards, who was skating forwards, who was probably going to get drawn to that side in that situation. My guess is Nemec had no clue there was that second guy there, because in that situation, Nemec should be cutting off that pass and giving the shooter, taking away the pass. Giving the goalie the shooter. Yeah, just taking away the pass, give the goalie the shooter in that situation, instead of just peeling off and going, all off into that direction and leaving a shot right there in front. We are so inexperienced in our defensive core right now, and we're making mistakes, and mistakes by the defensive core is not good. I'm disappointed. Yeah, okay, so if a good team is supposed to rise up and to meet the challenge, what I'm disappointed in is you have injuries and you have players who have an opportunity to say, this is why you need to keep me on this team, and they're not rising to that occasion. Because at that point, when all the injuries are done, then the coaching staff has a hard time to make a decision wise. Bratt, I thought yesterday specifically, I thought he was invisible. It wasn't until the third period that I think I saw him on television. They didn't say, from my recollection, they didn't say his name once. But they didn't really say a lot of offensive players' names once, because we just couldn't do anything. I have liked Timo Meier's play since he's come back. He's just been so snake-bitten. He's had so many great opportunities. He did get the assist on the power play goal the one night on, I think, Holtz's goal maybe.
He got one of those last night too.
Goals. Yeah, so he's got assists, and he's working hard. He's going to the net. He's putting pucks on the net. He's just getting screwed when it comes to the puck going in the net. I've been happy with his play. Just because he hasn't scored doesn't mean he's not playing well. But this whole team is just playing like garbage. And you know what? And I've defended the goalies all season long. And after seeing the defensive play over the last couple games, no goalie is going to succeed with defensive blunders like we've seen over the last couple games specifically. No goalie is going to succeed. We did well against the BJs, which we had to. That was a 4-point game. But
yeah.
And I know it's halfway through the season. We're not too far out, but we're letting games at hand slip away. And these are the points that are slipping away that we're going to rue come mid-April, when all of a sudden it's down to it and there's 4 teams fighting for 1 spot and 1 point, and it's going to come to something stupid tiebreaker. These are the games that are going to screw us. So I know there's a half a season left, but these are the types of games that worry me when it comes to making the playoffs. It's not good, and it's frustrating to watch. And it's just, I guarantee last night, Sarge could have gone down to that locker room mid-second period, thrown on equipment, went out on the ice, and done something better than any of the players in the ice could have done.
I'll tell you what, he looks like he can still play. Do you see him when he took that jacket off? Before he put on the red jacket, which I got to say was a nice touch. I was just like, holy hell, he's ripped. He's jacked still. He like, oh man.
Do it. He could still do it. And I would love – that's like, you need him – you need a player like him to go out on the ice at practice and just demolish somebody. Just open ice, demolish someone with a check and be like, that's what you need to do. Like there has to be a bag skate. There has to be something. These players need to skate until they throw up on the ice, and then they've got to be told, cut the crap. That's borderline Grant Marshalling the podcast. I get it, but it's not good enough. It is not good enough. And I'll tell you what, there was one point with the Red Bulls a couple seasons ago where they were playing like crap, and we actually made a banner. We snuck a banner into the arena that just simply said "not good enough," and it made the broadcast, and it made headlines around the league. And we held it up, and immediately they scored to win the game or something stupid like that. So we're like, "Oh crap! Bring the sign down! Bring the sign down!" But
time to break it out and dust it off, there, Shorts guy.
However, whenever they played like crap the rest of the season, the screen grab of that sign was posted online. But there needs to be some kind of message to this team that it's just not good enough. There's no way on a night to honor the coach that's still there. And you're right, it's not a player that's just walking onto the carpet, giving a wave. None of these players know very much of who it is, other than it's, this guy from this team from this many years ago. This is the guy that's on the ice with you daily, that has come up with a lot of these guys from Utica.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like you should want, if you don't want to run through a wall for a coach like Sarge, then what the hell are you doing there? So where's the messaging? Like, why is the messaging lost? It's so frustrating.
But Shorts guy, so then that goes
though too.
It's
these young. You got 3. You got 1 on each pairing that doesn't know exactly where they're supposed to be. Luke, Nemec, and Ball. Like, so you can't have like Cal Foot and John Marino. Like, they can't cover everyone out there on the ice at all times. Colin Miller as well. I really think it's a lot of the goals that you were talking about. Like the first 4 yesterday, I wouldn't put on Nico Dawes. Maybe the last 2. But the first 4 were like complete. Pavelski was wide open in the slot.
Oh my gosh, that was terrible. That was so
the second
terrible.
goal, there was 2 guys just wide open. Like, why is Nemec out by the blue line? Why is Kevin Ball out by the blue line? Why are the defensemen on the same? Why are they on the same side of the net?
Those are basic defensive blunders, though. Those are basic defensive blunders.
Who's this Nemec guy? I tell you who this Nemec guy is.
No. I know he's young. I know he's young, but these guys have been lifelong defensemen for the most part. They should know where to be. That's basic defensive play. That's basic defensive play on that 2-on-1 against Montreal. Cut the pass and let the goalie have the shooter. Unless you have no freaking clue that there's another guy blitzing in, which is also on you too. Like, you should have some situational awareness of what's going on. It's just so frustrating. It's not like these guys just picked up a stick in September and said, "Oh, I'm gonna be a defenseman." So what do I gotta do? But Bryce Salvador made a great point. When you're playing on an off wing like that, like John Marino's doing, it could be a cluster F. When you're used to turning one certain way, and now you're turning that way, but it's the wrong way. So now you've made a mistake, and you have to correct, and you overcorrect. So this is just it's one problem compounding another problem, and it's just so frustrating because as more of a defensive minded person, it's like these are the mistakes that should not be happening. it's just like, come on, like this is basic hockey 101.
But it's at the most elite, fast level you can possibly play at. So they need to get used to it. It's growing pains. In like 2 years from now, I don't think we'll be seeing this stuff. But we all remember how it was when Jack started, when Dawson started, when Nico started. When all these guys were coming up, they all made these blunders, and now we're going through it on the defensive side. It just sucks that our top pairing defense were both hurt long term, and then our defunct top pairing defenseman in Brendan Smith also got hurt and now is on the IR. So
we saw this problem. We saw this problem brewing in September. Why was nothing done about it?
No, that's
why was nothing done about it?
We saw it in September, but we also had the comfort of knowing that it was only Luke and Ball. And you still had Brendan Smith, and you still had the option of Colin Miller coming back. So it was like, yeah, we'll have to deal with it for a little bit. But then there was like always the option of like, okay, well, if one of those guys is having an off night, you can bring in Brendan Smith, and he can be, the extra defenseman that like shuffles in and out of the lineup. But guess what? He's on IR too, everybody, because that's the kind of season we're having.
But it's not like we haven't seen these problems just in the last 2.5 weeks because of these injuries, since November with these injuries. Like this was brewing. Like I would sincerely hope that Fitzy has been trying to bring in a defenseman, and if he hasn't, then we see something that the team doesn't see, and at that point they got to start giving us some money and paying us to consult with the team. But I would still love to be there and see what goes on in practice, because some of these guys must look fantastic in practice and must look like great practice players, but then come to a game time situation, and it's sometimes they're just not performing there and they're making mistakes, and these mistakes are really, really costing us. And it's just so damn frustrating.
You bring up a point when you were saying like the coaches should have a bag skate and they should go out there and they should work them hard and they should just be like, this is not good enough. The problem is do we know that the coaching staff has been doing that or not doing that? You know what I mean? Like, have they been doing that?
Well, we don't have that access.
Responding? Exactly. So that's the thing. Is like, and the people that do have the access, like they do a great job reporting on it, and it feels like we do get some insight on certain things, but it feels like there isn't a moment where a jelly jar is being thrown against the wall. Do you know what I mean? And any
Devils fan will understand. I've done it as a coach.
That I'm making to that. Yeah, like there has to be that moment of like, guys, this is just not good enough, and something needs to change. But it needs to be said with a fire of brimstone, where Lindy Ruff has to come in there after hearing his name being chanted, "Fire Lindy" again. Has to hear the crowd booing. That there's no way those guys can drown that out. I know they always say, "Oh yeah, we're drowned out the sound." There's no way in hell that they walked into the locker room not hearing the fans' displeasure after that game and just says, "All right, boys, we'll just get him next time." Although I could be wrong, because in the press conference afterwards, he was like, "Okay, boys, we'll just get him. We'll get him next time." Oh wow, Buffalo.
Yeah.
Supernova, I'm giving you the Maurice Jones-Drew side look for your comment over there.
Yeah, who is Nemec or Nemec?
No, that's not what I was talking about.
Oh,
did you see last week when Chris Rose asked MGD if I don't know which team it was? Kansas City can. Well, look at Supernova's comment over there as well. So I'm giving you the. I'm giving you the Maurice Jones-Drew side look over there, Supernova.
Oh, Buffalo wide right.
Oh no,
wide right.
The league's going to get their favorite fan to move on. The league's loving that.
Well, they got 2 timeouts. They got to stop them. Sorry, we're not broadcasting an unlicensed NFL game right now. I'm just commenting.
Hey,
we don't have expressed written consent, but there's expressed oral consent.
Yeah.
There's a joke to be had about that, but we'll just skip right over that.
Yeah. Again, Maurice Jones-Drew side eye on that one. I wanted to ask you guys what you thought of the ceremony. I thought it was done very well. I liked everything about it. Loved the red jacket. Loved the big bottle of wine. The only thing I have is the actual like plaque and everything. Like it's just like a little badge. But there's no like his number's not on it. Like the years he played is not on it.
I thought it would look like the McMullen one. The McMullen one was sick. That one
to start a ring. Right? To start a ring for the Ring of Honor. Yeah, like, right?
It looked like one of those signs that one of those kids hold up, like, please give me a puck at the bottom. You know what I mean? Like, rock, paper, scissors, you for a puck, Breland. Whoa. That's what
I thought maybe they're going to put some more stuff behind it, to make it, like, sort of connect so you don't just see, like, the shutter thing, like, the security shutters, like, just behind it. But, I liked everything. I liked everything about the ceremony, except I was really hoping that it would look like McMullen's.
Yeah.
Where was Marty and where was Patrick Elias too? That was my question.
Marty was probably in the press box doing his job, and Patty did a lot of
down in the ice for that.
I mean, he's up there. He's doing his job. He's assistant GM and everything like that. I don't know. Like, what do you got me? I mean, they got 8 other guys down there. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was out of town scouting. I really don't know. But could have been. I thought everything was. I really liked the red jacket. I thought that was a cool touch. Yeah, I really did. Cool. I really liked that.
Yeah,
green jacket, red jacket. Who gives it?
I thought it was cool. I just something irks me about when a logo is on the right side of a garment and not the left. Something about it it needs to be on the left. That's just me being a picky, person that works with clothing quite often. I do love, I want to say spacing wise is probably why they did what they did. They just put it on the wall back there, and they're probably going to, put them along because of spacing. So they want to be able to have the same type of style for the other players, which will eventually go up there as well. I want to say it was the same exact logo that might be on his jacket. I can't remember.
Oh, it was, yeah.
It's the same. So that's kind of cool. Like your jacket is what's up there. They did in the jacket.
Would you show like the years though? Like the years he played, the 3 cups. I mean, we won 3 freaking cups. You think he would like recognize that?
Yeah,
maybe
a
little Sarge and in quotations. Like. I don't know.
Yeah, I
just thought there'd be a little bit more.
Maybe they were
everything else I thought was great though, and I'm not trying to complain. I'm just throwing it out there for discussion.
It just could be a simplistic thing. I mean, but then again, you look at some like football rings of honor, and it's like a player's name and number, or like a player or a coach's name and like the years that they were there, and it almost looks like an obituary type listing. So
okay,
maybe. But here's another thing too. You can't put dates on there because he's still with the team. So what are you going to do? Put his first season, a dash, and then a blank spot?
Well, playing years. You can put playing years.
Yeah, but they're also honoring. Yeah, but they're also honoring him too for his time as a coach, like in all his years with the organization too. So I feel like that dates that he's with the organization is tough because we don't know how he could be here for another 15 years. He could be out tomorrow because of the way the team is playing right now. We don't know. I don't think he's going to be. I thought it was a great ceremony. I thought they did very well. It was good to hear him talk. It was.
He didn't want to talk at all.
Oh yeah. You could almost tell when he was.
Flat out said he did not want to talk.
He wanted to pop that bottle of wine, that's for sure. Saw his eyes light up when that bottle came out. It was like, whoa, all right, here we go.
Poor Nico, man. That thing must have been heavy as hell, too. So
he looked like he almost dropped it. He almost dropped it.
That would have been fitting. That would have been fitting for the season. That would have been totally fitting for the season if Nico dropped the bottle and it shot across the rink and blew up everywhere.
Trips over a
mic. You know what would have been great
on the ice.
What would have been great? What would have been great is if like when the Devils got down to like 4-0, they pan over to the coach's box where Sarge is, and the bottle of wine is sitting there with just a giant straw sticking out of it, and he's just like sucking down that bottle of wine, like, going with
crazy 8 straws, like.
And you can see Sarge is really disappointed. No, actually, he's not disappointed at all. He's having a good old time. In retrospect, the box was closed. They could have just like gave him the empty box and kept the wine in the back, and not made Nico carry this like 90-pound box of booze over to Sarge. I mean, am I the only one that thinks that? Am I the only one with a brain?
No, Grant Marshall said that. Grant Marshall was actually wondering if the box was empty or had the bottle of wine in it during the intermission. They had Grant and Colin, 2 friends of the podcast, on their intermission thing. So, but yeah, they it had to have been heavy as hell to carry. But man,
yeah. By the way, I want to go back to something that Max put in the super chat. Super chat.
Oh, woo! I didn't even see it.
Yeah, saying that Kevin Ball was quoted as, "We are being screwed by these back-to-backs." And I was going to look it up, but I got distracted by the Bills game. There's another excuse, guys. No, but it's these back-to-backs are insane. They have 16. I know that for a fact. They have 16 back-to-back games this year. That is a lot. That's a quarter of your season is back-to-backs. And I was curious.
2 sets of back-to-backs in the last 2 weeks of the season. Pittsburgh Rangers and Ottawa and Nashville. Just looking at my schedule right in front of me. Two of them in the last 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah, and he said, like, we need to figure these back-to-backs out. They're killing us. What can somebody look this up really quick? Because what team has the second most back-to-backs this year? Because I have a feeling it's a huge disparity.
There's one other team with 16 as well. I think there's two. Teams with 16.
Why do the Devils always feel like they're in the top of the league with back-to-backs? Like, is there like a scheduling conflict at the Rock that they can't do it? They're like, sorry, we rented it out for our bar mitzvah. We can't schedule a game then.
I mean, there are a lot of games with Seton Hall, and I think Rutgers does play there every now and then as well. So there are a lot of other things. Sometimes concerts and tours get booked in there. Live
Disney
events.
On Ice.
It could be difficult. Yeah, it could be difficult, especially some of these musicians as well. With the Chiefs and game. Well, even though Taylor Swift would be playing at Giant Stadium instead of at the Rock, but sometimes a lot of these musicians come in with this is the date. That's it. We're not negotiating. You make it happen and change your schedule for other stuff later. And yesterday, I believe there was a Seton Hall game in the afternoon.
That went to triple
and then
overtime.
The Devils played at night.
Went to triple overtime.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. Woo! Woo! Oh, there it is, Max. The Caps at 15. So there you go.
Okay.
So they got one less. I knew there was someone else that was like right up there with us.
And just wait until next. What is it? Is next year the Olympics that they're going to be participating in?
Oh, I hope not. Is it already? The summer one this year, right? So does that mean the winter ones are next year, or is it 2 years away? I don't even know.
I can't remember if they're the same year or if they're 2 year difference anymore. But just whatever that Olympic season, whether it's this coming year or 2 years from now, just wait. It'll be more back-to-backs because that'll be at least a 2-week hiatus, if I'm remembering correctly, for the Olympics. So it's just going to get it could potentially get worse for these back-to-backs because they're going to smush so much more in.
Max said that he sent you the link. Or CHF.
I think it's CFH. CFH. As far as I know. That would be the Cowboys or Pantera.
Oh, okay.
Mark's got CHF.
Unless you're
Cowboys Hell for.
Cowboys Hell from.
Hey, speaking of the Cowboys, the Lions are in more conference championship games than the Cowboys have been in the 2000s. Hey!
So great.
Love
I was
it.
really hoping for a Buffalo Bills Detroit Lions Super Bowl. That would have been fun to watch, and also.
Was the game over? Did the Chiefs win?
Yeah, Buffalo missed.
Oh man,
field goal. Wide right. That's something they've never heard before.
Whoop, nope. Whoop, whoop. Yep. Well, you know what?
Norwood.
The league wants their number one fan. The league is happy that their number one fan can now go to the conference final with them.
Oh, let's see. So Jersey 16, Washington 15, Carolina 14, Minnesota 14, Ottawa 14. It's way closer than I actually thought. I thought it was going to be there's like the Devils with 16 and everybody else with 8.
Ottawa sucks. Minnesota sucks.
With this stuff.
Ottawa sucks. Minnesota sucks. Carolina's okay. The Caps are meh, and then there's us. So it seems like there's all the teams that have that many are not doing.
Montreal, Columbus, Ottawa, Minnesota, us.
Shane Van Sickle. Rico's got 2 goals against the Rangers. All right, well, he's good at that.
Woo! Love it. A buddy of mine is out. Has gone to all the Ranger games out west. Has gone to the Vegas game they lost to, and I guess they lost to the Kings. So a buddy of mine is a Ranger fan. Unfortunately, he's made a poor life decision, but the Rangers have lost every game he's gone to out west.
And thinking about that,
keep going, buddy. Keep sending him tickets.
That Vegas game that we're going to be at will be the second of a back-to-back.
Yes, it will.
Oh man! Hey, we'll just have to celebrate. We'll be celebrating we'll be celebrating the holiday, and probably
one way or another.
Much one way or the other. We'll be celebrating,
and somebody's birthday is around that time too.
That's right. It'll be the next day. Yeah.
Yeah. When we wake up all hungover and on the floor of a casino.
Yep.
And Nova.
Because we walked out of the game because it was 7-2 in the second period.
Yeah, right. And Nova, I think the Patrick Waugh Lou Lamb's relationship will blow up sooner rather than.
Oh, you don't think that's going to?
I don't expect that. I don't expect that to work.
It's going to be fantastic. Butterflies all the time, right there.
I don't expect that to work very well, but not for nothing. I love Patrick. I loved Patrick Waugh as a goalie. I thought he's one of the greatest of all time. He changed the game. As a coach, he's kind of he had his opportunity. But if Patrick Waugh, here's my thing when I saw that hiring. If Patrick Waugh is your guy, then the available pool of coaches is really shallow.
Wow, yeah. Thank you, Max, because Max is just dropping some knowledge right now. Dallas is tied the game 2-2 against the Islanders, and Supernova was saying that Waugh looks like he's about to blow a blood vessel. That's nice. Already going well. It's already going really well. The blue lead. And Anaheim is up 2-0 on the Rangers, and the shot clock reads Rangers 14 shots, Anaheim 5. And who's in that tonight? Is that Shesterkin in that?
Just got to make them count. That's all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Just like the opponents against the Devils do.
Hey, listen, my favorite thing is going to be Patrick Waugh and Torts, because I hope there's opportunity for those two to go at each other, because I can guarantee there'll be some fireworks.
And I hope it's in Long Island, and I hope that Larry Brooks is there to ask them both questions.
That'd be good.
They should switch around the outdoor game.
No.
Put the Flyers.
Oh yeah, no, we'll play the Rangers.
Yeah, we'll play the Rangers. Yeah,
we'll play the Rangers. That's fine. All right.
Well, I think we should head into the old final thoughts here.
Wow, Ottawa.
Start wrapping up the old podcast, and for me, I'm looking at that young D, and I know they're learning on the fly, and it's well, yeah, right. I didn't even mean to do that there. That sounds really bad.
It does.
I'm looking at the youthful defenseman. I will say that the youthful defenseman. Guys, we all know it's not easy, and we know you're being thrown into a situation that you
Chris
are more than likely not. Yeah, right. Can you sit down, Scotty? Well, sit down, Scotty.
Take a seat right over
there.
Paul, that's a good one.
Well, we know you guys aren't ready, quote unquote, yet, and you're playing, these big minutes, 20+ minutes a game. You're getting thrown out there against other teams' aces. We get it. We know. But just stay the course and just try to stay in position as best you can out there. It'll help out. It'll help out with your D pairing, and it'll help out, cleaning up some of these mistakes because, listen, Nico Dahl's pretty damn good. Vitek Vanacek, even though he was giving up big, juicy rebounds, he only gave up one goal that really wasn't his fault against the Blue Jackets. So just work on that defense and try to clean it up a little bit. And, you get Timo back in the swing of things, get Jack back after the All-Star break, and that offense is going to start clicking more. So if we can just solidify that defense a little bit more, I think that would turn this thing around. And there's still time. There's still plenty of time. Everyone is bunched up there in that little final wild card spot. There's going to be a lot of flip-flopping in and out all throughout the rest of the season. One day you're going to be in the spot. Next day you're going to be out by a point, back in. That's the way it's going to go because everyone is so tight. But if they clean up that defense, man, this could be, Yep. Some of these games can really, really easily swing the other direction.
I'm going to say my final thoughts are you're 100% right that the season is only at the halfway point and crazier things happen. You've seen teams go on a tear and play the second half and get into the playoffs and are a dangerous team because they've been fighting for their lives the entire time on the back stretch of the year. And I kind of hope and I kind of see that this is where the team is going. I feel like there's something needs to change. I don't know what it is. I said it on Twitter the other day. After that loss, I was pissed off. I woke up this morning. I was still pissed off for a little while, but cooler heads prevail. I don't think there's going to be a coaching change, even though there's a lot of people that would disagree with that. I feel like Fitzy's got a move. Maybe it is a defenseman. Maybe I don't know what it is, but something needs to change in the way that this team is playing, especially on these back-to-backs. And if they get everybody healthy, and if this team can stay healthy for the second half of this season, they're going to be one of the most dangerous teams in the league. Because as other teams are going to start to deal with injuries and as other teams are going to start to deal with wear and tear of the season, we're going to be getting guys back that have been rested for a while. We're going to be getting Palat back. We're going to be getting Jack back. There's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be coming back, and it's going to be time to go on a run. So let's see if I'm right. But get healthy, boys. And if you get healthy in time, it's going to be one hell of a second half.
We have to get our defense right because it's not. So work on your positioning, work on playing, better sound defense. And if you have to play in the off wing, get used to it because that's what we got right now. And yeah, there's time, but it's ticking away. And we are going to regret these losses in January if we don't make the playoffs. There's time, but you don't have a lot. Get it right, and you got to get it right now.
Yeah. And I think fans should calm down a little bit, though, because eventually the players will come back, and they'll be, hopefully much better down the stretch. And you just need to get into the playoffs. And everything will take care of itself once the season resets for the postseason. I want to thank all those tuning in. Just remember to joinourcrew.com. Go to joinourcrew.com for the latest updates of our outdoor tailgate on February 17th at MetLife Stadium. We got a lot of things brewing right now. Shorts Guy, you and I have high-level meetings tomorrow.
We do.
Yeah, we have some high-level meetings tomorrow. So, Beer Baron, I'm just about to close. What do you need?
Sorry, as per James Nichols, per source, Jack Hughes will attend the February 3rd All-Star game. However, he might not play.
Probably skills competition. They'll probably have the skills competition.
Yeah.
Because that's a non-contact thing, so.
Or they're just worried that a Kachuk brother will force call.
Exactly.
Like last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go to joinourcrew.com for the latest updates, and I can promise you by the end of the week we're probably going to have an email blast out.
Yep.
So, all right. Thank you, everybody. Keep it positive. And we'll be at American Whiskey tomorrow, Short Sky and I. We might have a special guest. We'll let you know a little later.
Yep.
Until next time, let's go Devils.